I think some people say that they are the best and all that. They're just not being truthful. They don't want anyone to know the truth. I was there at one point. I like being an open book because I know whenever I was smaller, I looked at all these bigger businesses and thought they're bulletproof. They must have never struggled. And that's why I like being so open and honest about like how it really is, because I know that most people are feeling that way going into it. Like, hey, this isn't as easy as I thought. It's a major challenge. It's way more work than I ever expected. And I want people to know that, hey, it's all of us. No matter what you see on Facebook or wherever it is, everyone struggles sometimes. I learn the most from my struggle.
Florida's not just where we live, it's where we build legacies. Welcome to the Florida Forge podcast. This show is designed to celebrate the entrepreneurs shaping our state's future. Leaders who care about more than just profit. Why? Because the businesses we build today will define the Florida our children inherit tomorrow. I'm Gavin Elliott, a Florida business owner for over 25 years, and together we'll uncover the grit, values, and vision that forge what's next in the great state of Florida. Josh, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. I have a confession to make for this brand. I've done a few over, but this is the inaugural podcast. So if ever I reach the heights of success, this will be the one that everyone will remember. So I'm very excited. So I looked into your company, AirDocs, a little bit. It's impressive, man. You've got fleets, you have this customer service promise, and really you just seem to have a good product and service. And one of the things that interested me about that was you had this focus on customer service. And lots of people say it, but you get a call center in India or something like that. What is it that made this focus on customer service so important to you? Wasn't there an event, anything like that?
Yeah, it was actually working for other companies. And, I love being a tech, serving at the highest level. And then whenever it's like sales were easy for me, and I had no sales training. It was just because I care about the customer. So I preach all the time, if you do a great job and great service, the sale comes naturally. So that was one of the things that I thought about when I wanted to open my company. And when I did, I'm like, this is, as long as I keep doing what I'm doing, what's right by the customer, what makes sense to the customer, it just seems like the sales kind of laid out. Not all of them, I'm not going to get them all, but seemed like it made things easy.
Cool, man. So what was it that took you from the safety of a 9-to-5 to starting your own business and becoming an entrepreneur? What brought that about?
I always wanted to own my own business, and I just didn't know what it was going to be. So I kind of hopped around the trades, figured out what I wanted to do, found air conditioning pretty early, like 23 years old, which is almost 18 years ago now. So once I found it, I knew that was it. And from there it was just, I need to learn as much as I can, do as much as I can, and get my business going. I did start it as soon as I was allowed to legally, and it didn't work out. It was AirDocs. I didn't fail, but I kind of did. I was like, hey, what? This is not as easy as I thought. I'm a great tech, but I had no idea that people wouldn't just start calling me because I opened it. So I kept it open, just ran calls with friends and family, went and got a job again for about 2 years, and then gave it one more shot. And I will say that last day at that job, before I put in my notice, I knew it was time. Like I had that fear, like I was making great money. That was what was holding me back. But I was like, you know what? I got to do it now. I'm just getting older and I can't keep pushing it off forever. So I did it, and it was rough in the beginning, but it paid off.
So let me ask you, when you first and second took these leaps, did you have kids at that time? Were you married at that time?
Yeah. So the first time I was actually getting a divorce. So that was part of why I had to go get a job, because when starting the company, I was also going through a divorce. So it was,
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it was draining me financially. So on top of my phone not ringing. So I was like, I gotta go get a job, finish this, clean everything up, and then I can try again. What question did you ask me?
No, and so how about the second time when you started it into success? Were you married at that time? Well, did you have kids from the marriage that you got divorced from?
Yeah, so my daughter at that time, she was 4 years old whenever I was starting the company. When I left the second time, I don't remember how old she was. It was a few years later, so probably 6 or 7. I I had a child, I had child support,
I know it well.
yeah, I had a new girlfriend. So it was rough, and especially going from big paychecks to, I don't know what I'm going to make on Friday, so it was rough. It was rough on our relationship for, the first year.
Was she really supportive of you and behind you? They have that saying that like behind every successful man is a good woman. Like, did you have that behind you when you, obviously not in the divorce, but when you were moving forward the second time?
Yeah, so that I'm really grateful and lucky. One of the things that she did for me was she did cover our rent for the first 8 months. So I didn't.
Wow, bro.
Yeah, so I just had to worry about my child support and my gas and my car payment. So she really helped out as much as she could. She was a nurse, so she did as much as she could, which meant a lot to me.
No, that's listen. I have anyone who does right by me. I will always look out for them to the end of days. Because the numbers aren't that big.
Yeah.
I want to find out a little bit. Well, actually, I want to ask one more question regarding this. What was it from the first effort to the second effort? Did you realize that there was something to change specific, or was it just harder work? What was it that you changed to reach the success?
It was honestly just dialing it in, because I think like most technicians that become owners, hey, I'm a great tech, I can do this as an owner. And then I got that rude awakening. It's not like that. You have to also know how to run a business, generate work, generate your own leads. So knowing that going in the second time, before I even quit my job, I had an ad out on Facebook for, cheap tune-up offer. So just a completely different way to start, not just, okay, I'm here, I'm open, everyone should know, start off. So I had an ad rolling, I think like a week before I left my job. But yeah, I started getting stuff in the motion that I could afford to do, and went to some networking groups, and those helped too.
Now let you and you may not believe this, or you may. Like, I really have crippling social anxiety. Yeah. If I walk into a room with one person beside me, I'm fine. But if I walk into a room of strangers by myself, like, it's unpleasant. Are you one of those extroverts who, being at these networking events, was just like easy as heck, or what? Did you actually have to push yourself to do it?
No, I'm an introvert. So that's extremely hard for me. And, I was shaky when I introduced myself. My voice was shaky. It's just not my normal thing, but I knew that I had to get out of that comfort zone. I had to do it, had to meet people, had to just get out there, because no one's going to know except for me and my family that I started a business. So I just kept doing it, and it took a long time. It wasn't like, oh, it was one rough session. It was probably a year of rough sessions before it kind of got good. I'm asking personally, and if people are listening, they may want to know as well. Is there any tips or tricks, or is it just basically running at it and eventually it gets easier? I would think of it like kind of like skydiving. You just got to jump off the plane and do it. Once you're there, there's no turning back.
Yeah. No, that's cool, man. I have a lot of respect for that. There's this, like, one of my philosophies in life is like running at challenges, like you don't get stronger by backing down from challenges. And that's something I'm trying to give to my kids. Now, you mentioned your daughter. How old's your daughter?
She's 17 now.
Oh my God. Is she a senior this year?
Next year, because her birthday's in March. She just turned 17.
Do you have any idea where she's going to go to college?
She actually just moved to California, so I think she's going to come back to Florida for college. You're talking about that?
Cool.
Yes. She wants to go to UF, or actually she really wants to go to Tallahassee, but if not, she'll go to UF.
Well, in my unbiased opinion, Florida is the best school in the entire country. So, and we did just win a national championship. Yeah. So there's gravy there. I mean, I had a great time there. Like, it's so different. I'm going to loop this back to you real quick. But, I went from religious education with an amazing mom and bedtimes to, holy shit, I have absolute freedom to do whatever the hell I want. And there's all these beautiful women everywhere. It was a lot, man.
I can only imagine. I didn't get that experience. I went to the local community college, and I didn't move into the dorms, and I did it too young. So like, I had the same experience as you, just I couldn't imagine how I would have acted if I had that level of entertainment going on.
Oh, it's crazy. And a lot of people, when they talking about being a technician, they'll talk, well, Germany, everyone goes to college. And I'm like, well, that's actually not accurate. And I read this somewhere, and if I'm wrong, I'm sorry, but about half of the population actually goes to technical school. Now, so like in your industry, is there a shortage of technicians? Is there a surplus? Like, what are your thoughts on if someone like, especially guys, guys are handy, like standard education isn't necessarily meant for us. What are your thoughts about going to technical school as opposed to a university?
It never hurts. Now, if they know, hey, I want to work in the field, I want to do a trade, then I hate to say this, but I think college is kind of a waste of time. It never hurts to go to the trade schools, but we're going to train, and we have our own Air Docs University. We're going to do a better job training than half the time they're going to get hands-on training. So if they want to do that, it shows me that they're serious. They spent the time, they spent the money on their own. So that means a lot to me. I know that usually they're a good hire because they're invested. But our industry is in a huge shortage right now and going to be worse over the next 10 years because a lot of the techs and installers are going to be retiring over the next 10 years. I think it's something like a 30 or 40% shortage we're going to have if we don't start bringing them in. I'm hoping a lot of the high schools start doing like they used to do when I was in school, teaching some of the trades, kind of getting them on that path instead of just saying, hey, it's only this type of college. There's no other option,
Well, and you know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of and it's like, I don't know if it's a meme. It might just be a picture, but you got like a fish, a lion, a monkey, an elephant, and it's like intelligence tests. And the guy behind the desk is asking each of them to climb the tree. And, not everyone's like, and I'm not referring to you individually, but like, you can be a young man going through school and not having a lot of success because your attention isn't where your skill set is, And I really hope too that we start reinstituting technical schools in our high school level because I've heard I have a friend who owns a plumbing company, and he said that there's a massive shortage of techs in there as well. So let me ask, how when people are little kids, I honestly wanted to be a lawyer since I was 10 years old. When you were a little kid, did you want to be a AC service technician, or what did you want to do?
I honestly didn't even know AC existed. I just thought it was comfortable in houses. So what I didn't know that I like to take stuff apart, figure out how it worked. So it kind of just came together like that. I think that's why when I came to air conditioning, it just clicked because it was something I didn't even know I was looking for, but I really liked it. It challenged me, and it actually intimidated me a little bit. I was like, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to learn all this, but it was a good thing.
Do you think you learned all this now?
I don't think in this industry you never learn everything, but I definitely am good at what I do. But yeah, I don't think any of us ever learn it all.
All right. So what was it like being I know Vero, I've been to Vero. It's a cool surf town. I mean, Fort Lauderdale, before all the money came down back in the day, used to be a nice surf town as well. What was it like growing up in Vero Beach as a kid?
Boring.
Really?
Yeah, well, back then, I mean, I guess not that long ago, but it was a lot of dirt roads. It was beach or mall. And that was really the only stuff we had to do for fun was the beach or the mall.
How far is Sebastian from you?
Sebastian, right next door, and they're worse. They don't even have a mall, so it's rare.
Did you ever were you a surfer ever or ever do anything like that?
I liked it in middle school. I didn't do it so much once I got my driver's license, but I never was full-time surfing. I just would do it when there was a surfboard and I was at the beach.
That's cool, man. I've never done the inlet. Honestly, I boogie board and I did the lame sit on your stomach, don't have coordination.
Yeah.
Style of boogie boarding.
That's a lot of my stuff that I did is boating, wakeboards, stuff like that. I didn't do too much. I did some surfing in middle school, but not a ton. It wasn't my hobby or my passion, but it was fun.
So I know before we started recording, you said that your hobby used to be spearfishing.
Yeah.
But you'd snorkel spearfish. You wouldn't scuba spearfish?
Well, yeah, I didn't scuba dive. I had a third lung, and that's how we did it most of the time. There'd be a couple of us sharing a third lung.
What's a third lung?
It's like an air compressor that floats on the surface, and then you all have hoses that feed down to you instead of having a tank.
Okay. And did you say that like you had a lung collapse or something like that?
Yeah, so I was down with one of my buddies that was new to it, and he was kind of sucking all the air out. And even though I knew better, I thought, hey, let me hold my breath, let this machine catch up. And I guess I floated up with a full lung of air, and it popped. So
Holy shit.
that was the end of that career.
Damn, man. How deep were you that like something like that happened?
I think it was like 40 feet.
Oh, wow. I couldn't go that deep. Did they in Vero, did they have like mini season stuff like that for lobsters and everything like that?
Yeah, we were like at one point I was going out, not at mini season especially, but 4 to 5 days a week to go dive.
4 to 5 days a week?
Yeah, I was obsessed.
As an adult?
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's like your golf. You know what I'm saying?
It was peaceful, and it gave you that. There's some fear to it, especially at night diving and any of that stuff. Because it's fun because there's some danger to it.
So whatever dangerous things do you like to do?
I haven't done anything fun in so long besides work, and I take the boat out like twice a year. But other than that, I pretty much work most of the time. Read. I don't do as much fun stuff as I should. I did just go to Vegas, but that was for work.
Did you gamble while you were there, or do anything interesting while you were there?
I did. I went and saw the Grand Canyon, but I didn't gamble.
Oh, cool. That's very cool. I've actually always wanted to do that. I just tend to go there for when people turn 40 and like just perhaps drink too much.
Yeah.
God, I remember like when growing up in Fort Lauderdale, we had the intercoastal bridges and we used to jump off of them into the water. And it was always like going higher and higher. And now at my age, dangerous things aren't really as much on the menu as they used to be.
The painful things are going to be painful. You're like, yeah, I'll avoid that. But if there's a chance that, it's going to feel all right, I'll be fine.
No, it's true, man. Because like things don't heal anymore like they used to. That's the bloody problem.
Takes like a week minimum.
So let me ask you this: when you first started up the air docks, were you all in, or I guess did the divorce play a significant role in putting aside the money involved and everything like that? Was your mind just not able to be in it because you were dealing with a divorce?
Honestly, it was the opposite. I was so hungry to prove myself, and I'm glad that relationship ended, but it gave me a fire I don't think I've ever had in my life, that I had to prove, I was worthy, just prove that I could be on my own, do it on my own. There's a lot of stuff that internally that made me like probably fight harder than I ever would have because of that divorce. Wow.
So it was like, and I understand this was more than you'd ever done before. Was there something when like you were a kid that like that was your, like, from talking to you already, I know that like you don't step down from a challenge, and you like, my middle name is danger kind of situations. So like, were you that way when you were a kid as well, or?
Yeah, then it was more physical danger where so I was getting hurt all the time. I think in like 7th grade, I was in a wheelchair for 6 months. So like,
holy.
Yeah. So I always like to push the limit, whether it's, jumping out of trees, whatever it is, just thrills all the time. If I'm bored, I need to entertain myself.
No, I remember that we had, in my playground when I was a young kid, like we'd be constantly trying to find higher things to jump off of. And as long as we didn't hurt, we kept going and going and going and going.
Bigger ramps to jump with the bike or whatever it is.
Yeah, cool, man. I had an embarrassing situation where I tied my bicycle up behind someone's go-kart. I mean, we got going fast, over 30, hit something, flew over the handlebars, slid on my face for like a while. I couldn't see for like 2 weeks. My whole face was shut down. My mom didn't even take me to the doctor, by the way, because she didn't believe in doctors.
Yeah, I've had similar stuff, but like skateboards and, getting pulled by dogs on skateboards way too fast and having, that concrete interaction.
Yeah, concrete and body is not a good combination.
Yeah.
Do your folks live in Vero as well, or do they live somewhere else?
My mom did until about 10 years ago, maybe a little longer than that. She moved to Orlando, so not too far. But I have a bunch of cousins and aunts and uncles, and my grandmother lives here. We're all Pretty much, if we weren't born here, we were raised here. So I have a pretty big family that's still mostly here.
Okay. What's like a value you have, like a personal value you have that you apply to Air Docs, your business?
I guess I don't know if it's a value. It's just one thing I think I am is super consistent. Like I have a routine. Nothing will really break that routine. If it does get broken, I'm not in the best mood. So for me, just consistency comes easy. I'll just do it every single day. I won't stop. And it's not like I'm forcing myself. It's just my body's an autopilot and I'm just going to keep on doing it. Wherever the people get tired, they want to do something fun. This is fun for me.
You ever thought about a career in podcasting out of curiosity or no?
I thought about it. I actually had someone ask me if you wanted to do a joint podcast, and I said yes, but we haven't gone any further since then.
So what would be the name of your podcast? Do you have a name for it?
I have no idea. I don't even know what it would be, what the topic would be. That's why it probably hasn't gone very far yet, but it is something that I have considered when someone offered it to me, and I was like, yeah, you know what? I would like to do that.
Like this Florida Forge, the idea of it is, one, forging a legacy, like building something that when we're gone, we're still here for the state of Florida specifically, and, my hometown specifically. And then, that saying steel, sharpens steel.
Yeah.
So I saw on your video that you do some community service. What kind of community service are you involved in?
So we were doing Air Docs Cares, which is every month we were letting the community pick. I posted on Facebook, hey, here's our 3 local charities, nonprofits that, the community said, hey, we like all of these nonprofits. I picked 3. And then for a month we ran a promotion where it said, hey, whoever gets the most votes, we're going to donate $1,000 to the community's favorite local nonprofit. So we ran that for quite a while. I only took it down because we had some Facebook issues and I wasn't able to promote it like I could. So it wasn't getting the traction anymore. But now that I have my Facebook back, I can start doing that again.
So like my favorite charity is St. Jude. I just have this, like always my whole life, I had this difficulty with understanding why, and I don't question God, but like why bad things happen to kids, So that's why I like St. Jude's. Do you have a favorite charity? And if so, why is it your favorite?
I'll be honest with you. If I had to pick one, it would probably be St. Jude's.
Cool, man.
I wasn't really big into charity. I always thought it was a good thing. It's just, being younger and all that, I just was like, I need my money, so, but no, like St. Jude's is one of those that always hits me in the heart. Like if I see their commercial or it's either them or the animals that kills me.
Oh yeah. With the Etheridge singing that super sad song and like all the cats and dogs looking at you super sad, which I contribute to them as well, largely because of that commercial. Now, your daughter lives in California. What's the time sharing been like? Like I get my kids 50-50. So what's the time sharing been like with your daughter?
Unfortunately, because she does live there, she lives in Tiburon, so it's far. I mean, it's California, so it's far from Florida. Right now, we do it whenever we can. Like she came for Christmas break. She's here right now for spring break, and then she's coming for summer. Because she's from here, all of my family's here, so her cousins, her friends, they all live around here. So she wants to come as much as possible, which is great for me.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, but I can't swear every other weekend or anything like that. Like I used to.
No, I hear you. No, but like, I mean, obviously she wants to be around you, which is a good thing,
Well,
now
she wants to be in Vero so she can be close to her friends.
Oh, really? So when did she leave Florida for California?
Just in September, so it hasn't been too long.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to ask, has she like become a Californian like now as opposed to a Floridian? Have you noticed any changes or anything like that?
Yeah, she hated it at first, but then she met some friends and she likes it, but she still wants to come back to Florida for college. So she thinks Florida's for her.
Right. Earlier on when we were talking, you mentioned how, you grew your business. If there's, and trust me, I run my own law firm. So I ran in, you open up a law firm, you're like, hey, I'm here. And no one comes. You're like, shit. So if someone's thinking about starting up a business, what would be some suggestions you'd give them if they wanted to, get clients, basically?
I thought about this over the years because there's so many different, depending on when you ask me, I'd have a different answer. But now I'd say probably marketing, like learn how to sell, learn how to market so you can get leads to sell leads, because without those two things, you're never going to get the revenue. You need the like it's the chicken and the egg. Which one's more important? I think marketing comes first, then everything comes after. So without that, you don't get the customers.
Okay. No, that makes sense. And you said you did a lot of networking. Did that pay dividends for you, especially at the beginning?
It did. It's like one of those things where in the beginning you don't have a lot of money, but you have a lot of time. So that's what I was spending, so I wasn't getting leads and money like I needed. But it did pay off over time. It's just like when you're new starting out, you kind of need that flow. Definitely do it. It's worth it. It will pay for itself 1,000 times over if you keep going to them. But it does take a long time before you build the relationships and people remember that you're out there and refer you to their friends. So it is extremely important, but it's not something that's going to get you going right away.
All right. And if you don't mind me asking, are you a man of faith out of curiosity?
Yeah, I don't push it on people, but yeah, I have a strong faith.
Okay. Christian faith?
Yes.
Do you have a favorite Bible verse or anything like that out of curiosity?
No, I don't.
I have this one. It's I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And just a very little story. One day, I have a 14-year-old daughter and a 12-year-old son. And she's difficult. And I get out of the car and to calm myself down. I'm like, it's clear outside, not a cloud in the sky. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And then there was this boom of thunder, freaked me out. First thing I had to do was look around to make sure I wasn't insane to see that other people had reacted to it. And I ended up getting a tattoo with a lightning bolt and that verse. So no, faith is very important to me. Does faith play any role in how you conduct yourself as a businessman?
I think so, yeah, because I think it has everything to do with my morals and my moral compass. So we have no matter what, if we make a mistake, I want to make it right. That doesn't matter our financial situation or whatever. For me, it's like karma. I'm a real big believer in karma, and you do how you want to be treated. It's going to come back around and hurt you twice as bad if you don't do it that way. So I just really believe that if you take care of people, you'll be taken care of. So, and that's worked for me,
Okay. Now in your friends group, when you guys were growing up in kids, did anyone ever expect that you'd be a successful business owner? Or did people have a different vision for you when you were a kid?
I don't know. I would say probably not, because I was so shy and such an introvert. Even though I always wanted to be, I had no clue how that was going to happen. But if I had to guess, I'd say it's probably a surprise to most.
Well, do you have any idea what they maybe thought you might be doing down the road?
I have no idea. Probably not being a participant to the community.
Like stuntman, something like that, maybe?
No, probably not so good, not such a great participant. I honestly, my daughter was a blessing for me because it really made me grow up and change the way I was living.
Yeah, me too, to be honest. I think that all dads have okay, there's terrible dads out there, obviously, but I think the non-terrible dads all have that same experience.
Yeah.
Now, having this business, has that changed you at all?
A ton. My business, I never knew that your business is like a direct reflection of you, I guess is the way to put it. So I thought, hey, I'm going to go start this business. We're going to grow like crazy. I'm the best at tech, it's going to be easy. Well, it wasn't. It definitely was challenging. Once I started growing myself, the business started growing rapidly after that. It was like I was the bottleneck holding the business back, just because of me thinking I knew everything, that it was easy, that I didn't need help. I remember thinking, and this was a big one, was I have to get to 1 million by myself with no help, just so I can say I got to 1 million by myself.
So you set a goal for yourself.
Yeah. But later on, I realized how dumb that was, because I was like, how long did that cost me before, if I would have got help sooner, I could have got to 1 million much faster. And so they're let my ego get in the way and hold me back.
So, it seems and this is candidly a pretty rare quality, you're self-introspective. A lot of people go through life thinking all the good that happens is because of them and all the bad is someone else's fault. But could you elaborate on that? for example, do you ever get that voice in your head saying, don't do this? You know what I'm saying?
All the time. So yeah, all the time. I think we all do it as owners. I think some people say that they are the best and all that. They're just not being truthful. They don't want anyone to know the truth. I was there at one point. I like being an open book because I know whenever I was smaller, I looked at all these bigger businesses and thought, they're bulletproof. They must have never struggled. And that's why I like being so open and honest about like how it really is, because I know that most people are feeling that way going into it. Like, hey, this isn't as easy as I thought. It's a major challenge. It's way more work than I ever expected. And I want people to know that, hey, it's all of us. No matter what you see on Facebook or wherever it is, social, everyone struggles sometimes. Maybe some people got lucky. They'll eventually struggle, good for them to figure. But I will say I learned the most from my struggle. In the hardest times, I'll work the hardest. I'm okay studying all night to try to fix the problem. Whereas if it was always going good, those people, in my opinion, the people that I've met that I think always had it easy, they're really not great operators because they've never been challenged. How are you great if it's always been just a lay down experience, No,
and that reminds me of that saying, bad times make strong men make good times make weak men.
Yeah,
you're absolutely right. We need adversity. AI is like a big topic everywhere right now. Is there any integration of that into your industry at this point in time, or is there anticipated integration?
Yeah, there's a lot. So we've been using an AI, what's called like a master mechanic or tech support type deal. Doesn't work all the time, but it helps like the greener techs be a little bit more efficient if they're running into a new problem they haven't encountered or a tool they haven't used before or whatever it is. So there's some perks there. We actually just onboarded an AI answering service. So we'll see how that goes. It's not live yet. We're still fine tuning it. And AI chat for live chat, because we do a lot of lead funnels for all of our social channels and stuff.
Okay. I imagine in a zombie apocalypse, if you and I are standing there and they're like, all right, time to pick. Who wants the lawyer? Who wants the air technician? You're getting picked over me 100 out of 100 times. So but a lot of people are afraid that AI could replace components of the workforce. Do you think that there's a possibility that AI could have that impact on your industry?
Yes and no. So I thought about this and I was really against AI in the beginning, especially for customer facing products, like someone answering the phone. Even though we are onboarding that's only for when our phones are overfilled and the girls can't keep up or when we're closed. So for me, it's don't let the AI get any calls. We are succeeding if the AI gets no calls. If not, it's there because we would have missed it anyways. So, for me, it's just to elevate everyone I already have and get more out of the people I have. And I don't know where it's going in the future. It is growing really fast. But for me, it's more just to, keep overhead where it is as we keep growing instead of keep growing the people as well. I feel like we can get a lot more out of them, be a little bit more competitive, which, ramps up the volume for the customers because if we just keep adding overhead because of our inefficiencies.
And I have to ask you this question, and it's super cheesy, but we have these billboards and that you see, your wife is hot, get your air conditioning fixed. Have you ever had any ad campaigns, any silly stuff like that for ad campaigns or anything like that?
I don't really like that one. I know it gets attention because I've had a few people bring it up to me. I don't like that kind of ads. I do like stuff that gets attention. I'm okay stirring stuff up and seeing how it works and for temporary, but that one isn't, that's not really my style of advertising.
Okay. They're funny. I catch them all the time.
Yeah.
So I mentioned we're Florida Forge and we're about, like I said, forging legacies. What is the legacy that you want to forge that when Josh is gone from this earth, what is a legacy that you want to leave behind?
My thing's always been my people. The people that work for me, they've become like a family. I'm with them more than I'm with my own family. So it's just having people to just, that I've done things for, been there for, that just, that I want my legacy to be more about the people I've helped more than, the revenue I created.
No, that's cool, man. How long in this second manifestation has Air Docs been around for? When was it the second time? When did that start?
I call that. That's actually when we started, because I think that's when I did a first real job. But I left my job of June of 15.
15.
It'll be 10 years in June.
Oh, congratulations, man. Do you have any staff who've been there for 10 years? Like, do your staff tend to stay at your organization?
Yeah, we have good retention. Most of my staff has been here a while. We are growing, so we do have a lot of staff that's under a year or 2 years or 3 years. But we have our core managers and everything. We're like 4 or 5 years.
Well, that's great.
Because
like the legal profession, the turnover's insane.
And we did outgrow some people in the beginning, and nothing against them. It's just that, when I hired them, we were really small and I didn't know the type of demand we were going to need. And as we grew, the company kind of outgrew them. And that's kind of where some of the stuff where I started growing, they weren't growing with the company. So we had to move on.
If you had to say what you would look for in the perfect employee, what thing or things would you be looking for?
Attitude first. I just hired someone this morning, and that was honestly what he got hired for. Was his attitude was amazing. He actually came from Chick-fil-A.
Cool.
Not surprising, but attitude, skill is important, but it's towards the end. It's really attitude, consistency, just reliability, and because I can teach the trade. I know this extremely well. I can't teach those things. I'm not their parents, but I can teach the physical trade.
So do you see yourself ever living anywhere but Florida?
That's hard to say. I go out of town all the time, and I think about that, and I can't find a place that I can see myself living full time that would be better than where I live now, or at least in Florida. I'm a warm person. I don't like it cold, so I don't know where else I could live.
Now, do you have let's say, second favorite city? Do you have a second favorite city?
If I move out of Florida, I'm going to Costa Rica.
Costa Rica? Have you been there before?
Yeah.
Well, have you been down to Jocko in that area, or where do you go?
Well, I just went like 2 years ago. We went to the city, then to like the mountain area, and then to the beach and one other area. But I liked everything about it. I just liked how it had all these different experiences and just like a 1.5 hour, 2 hour drive. You're in a completely different area.
What do you think about the Pura Vida mentality?
I love that. It's really similar to where I'm from. It's just on way ramped up way more. And it's not all flat ground. So it reminds me of Florida, just way more culture, way more, or maybe I should say it kind of reminds me of Vero, more culture, just a lot more to experience and do on the weekends. Now, did you know that Costa Rica does not have a military? I did know that.
That's the craziest thing in the world to me. I was, I got to go there a lot for business, and I was talking to a friend there, and they're like, yeah, we don't have a military. And they're like, well, what happens if someone attacks you? They're like, oh, the UN will save us. I'm like, no, probably not.
Yeah, they told me that whenever my Uber driver, I don't know if it was Uber, whatever it was, he told me that. I was kind of shocked, but he said the same thing.
So what now, are there hot springs in Costa Rica, right?
Yeah, I went to some of those. That was cool.
Have you ever brought your daughter with you to Costa Rica?
I only went once, and it was just me and my wife.
Okay. And how long have you guys been married for?
We've been together 12 years. We've been married for 5. We just had our 5th wedding anniversary.
Oh, congratulations, man. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Now, your daughter's coming down here, probably going to University of Florida. Where do you know what she wants to do, or do you have a dream, or do you have a dream what you think she should do?
So you'll like this. She wants to be a lawyer, but she changes it up like every year. Lawyer's been the most consistent since middle school. She'll go lawyer, doctor, lawyer, but I think she's back on lawyer now.
Oh, good. Listen, if she ever has any questions about it, she can definitely touch base with me. I will probably discourage her, to be honest, but I can definitely answer any questions she has. When do you start submitting applications to go to college? When does that happen?
I think next year. I think she starts doing it next year. If not, I think she's doing it now. She said some of her friends were doing it. I'm not sure.
And she's your only child, correct?
I have so I have a huge gap. I have a child with my current wife, and he is 15 months old.
Oh, wow.
So big
Now,
gap.
have you ever used a lawyer in your life before?
Yes. More than once.
Okay. Now, when you started out the business, did you have lawyers help you start it up, or did you do everything yourself?
I had to do everything myself. I just didn't have the funds. So that was another thing that there's nothing else I could have done, but it took so long to start it because every single part of it was a learning curve that I had no one to reach out to.
So that was gonna be my next question. Did you ever have a mentor, or even today or ever, who you could go to and be like, "Hey, Bob, like, what's going on?"
No, my mentor was the building department. I just bugged the hell out of them. I'd show up and just be like, well, how do I get this? Where do I go for this? And then it was just kind of like physically asking everyone, like, because what was that, 2011, the first time when I was trying to get my license. So it was, it wasn't as easy online and to find the information I needed. So it was just, everything was new to me. I didn't realize everything that was involved, all the requirements. So everything was hard. But it made me good, because if not, I would have never. I learned how to do all of it. It just took a long time.
Now, let me ask: do you consider yourself like? Are you like the CEO of the company? Are you a CEO, CFO, CEO? Are you all the C's, suites, or do you have people helping you with that stuff?
Yeah, so I do have some help. I just hired a fractional CMO, but for years I've been doing CMO. I'm CEO, I'm CFO, and I think, and I'm sales manager. So those are all my titles still.
Good. I mean, how do you have the time? Like, how do you have the time to do everything you do with your work and, be married and on the side, live a life? Like, how do you make time to do all that stuff?
That's something I'm still working on. Like, not gonna lie, my work life takes over. So I have to figure out how to make it, I got to be more efficient at giving some of these management positions away, because like the CMO, that just took a huge thing off my plate, because one of my biggest things, and I love doing it, is marketing. And I'm still involved in it every week. It's just now 2 hours a week instead of, 2 to 3 hours a day.
So what is for people who don't know, what is a fractional CMO? What is that?
Chief Marketing Officer. So he just literally takes all that off my plate.
So all the advertising, all the marketing, you have this fractional CMO take care of that.
Yeah, and then me and him meet 2 hours a week. So he meets with all my, because we have like 81 phone numbers, and then we have all these different marketing channels. So he meets with all of them, and then me and him meet twice a week for an hour.
Okay. And I just have one last question, and it relates to something you said earlier. You said you read books. Is that correct?
Yep.
First of all, what type of books do you like reading?
Business books, because I always hated reading, and now I like reading, but only because it's fixing things for me. I'm looking for solutions, and that's what I'm finding. So
wow, you're focused, man.
Yeah, it's a passion. It's not. Trust me, I hate reading. I wasn't good at it, but because I force myself to read, because I find nuggets, and it makes it worth it. But I do enjoy it.
Okay, and are we ever going to get air docks down here in Fort Lauderdale area? Like, when can I expect to see your vans driving around?
We're working on it. We keep getting calls for West Palm. We just opened up Stewart, so we are working our way south. I like to take over the neighborhood and then expand from there, instead of like trying to just throw my cast net across the whole state. Like we were talking about earlier, customer service. If I try to do the whole state, my customer service is going to go crap.
Yeah.
And maybe that's not the case for everyone, but for me, I'm not there yet to be able to scale that pace and keep the customer service where it needs to be.
And are you still very personally involved with customers, or is that, I understand other people do it too, but do you get personally involved with customers?
I'll take calls. If we get a bad review, I'll call them personally. If someone's really pissed off, I'll take the phone call, because that is important to me. Usually I can turn it around or make it right, or, maybe we did something wrong. So usually as long as we take care of them, they're happy.
Well, great, man. You're a dude. I can clearly tell you're a guy who, when he faces challenges, he faces them. Like, you don't back down. And that's awesome.
Yes. Fight or flight, and no one's catching me. So I got 5 days.
Well, you know what it was? When I was younger, I was capable of running away. And I saw this thing yesterday. It was like, be wary of old man, because they can't run away anymore. So they have to stand and fight or die,
Yeah, exactly. That's true. Yeah, that is true. I will say I've always just been hard-headed, and I say this to people all the time. I'm so happy that I wasn't very smart when I started this business, because I probably would have been too scared to start if I would have known what was involved. So I'm glad that I had no clue what was involved, because if I knew what I did today, I'd probably be like, that's not worth it. I love it now, but being that person back then, looking at what I do now, I'm like, that's not for me.
That's awesome, man. And I guess another characteristic, you're a very humble guy as well, I mean, am I correct in that assessment?
That's something I have had ego issues, and I'm working on those. So it's nice to hear you say that.
Yeah, no, and you're very honest, and I appreciate it, man. Well, Josh, thank you so much for your time, man. I really appreciate getting to know who you are. You're Florida, I like to think I am too, just a little further south. But, I'm 40, I'm turning 50 this year, but so I'm a little bit old. Well, okay, maybe a lot bit older, but legacy is important. And it's guys like you and I and other men and women out there owning business who are going to make Florida great again or something like that.
Create legacies.
Yes, create legacies, man. Well, thank you, man. I really appreciate your time, Josh. I enjoyed the conversation.
You too.
Thank you for listening to the Florida Forge podcast. If today's conversation inspired you, share it with someone building their own legacy here in the great Sunshine State. Until next time, keep forging what's next for Florida, and we'll see you soon.